Evening once again, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our City Council meeting here Wednesday, March 20th, 2013. We're at William F. Dickinson Community Center, 1601 North Chrome Avenue, Homestead, Florida. At this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be given by myself, and the invocation will be given by Dr. Ted Greer. If you'd come forward now, Dr. Greer. Please rise.
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you for this great day in which you have made. Father, we thank you for this great city of Homestead that you have blessed us with, and you have blessed us with leaders who care and with great compassion for the citizens of this great city. We thank you for the citizens as well who are here tonight, oh God. They care about their city and care about the business at hand. We pray for wisdom. We pray for guidance. We pray for peace. We pray for great success will continue as we continue to deliberate on what is the best interest of this city. This I ask in your precious holy name. I say amen.
Please be seated. Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Maldonado. Councilman Shelley. Councilman Williams.
Here.
Vice Mayor Burgess.
Here.
Mayor Bateman.
Here. Okay, it looks like we've moved item 4 to 3, 3 to 4. Is that okay, that change, Richard? Usually we do additions, deletions, deferrals. Do we not? But that's okay. We're going to go into public comment now. Public comment will be held to 3 minutes. Please come forward and respect our clock of 3 minutes per person.
Good evening. I am a teacher. My name is Margarita Curiel from Everglades Preparatory Academy, and we're here with our cheerleaders and some of our other sponsors as well as family members. Our cheerleaders have worked very hard and very diligently this year. This was our first year as a school and as a squad, and they did go to regional championships in Port St. Lucie and placed first, and they were asked to compete in state championships in Jacksonville this past weekend, and they placed first there as well. Everglades Preparatory opened in August, and we do currently have grades 6 through 10 with the plan to open grades 11 and 12. And we do have informational meetings and other extracurriculars, and we're working very hard to provide our community and our students with the best possible school experience that they can have.
We're very proud of you, I can say, on behalf of this council. 3 new schools in 3 years, and this council is responsible for those 3 new schools, and you're one of them, and you're doing an outstanding job. You're making us proud throughout the entire state of Florida, and for that, I give you a round of applause. And before your 3 minutes run out, can you give us a quick cheer?
Of course.
All right, line up right here in front of us. you ladies very much, and thank you teachers, because the apple doesn't fall far from the teacher, and we thank you for what you do.
Mr. Mayor, if I would, maybe just a thought, any events that are coming up, we're starting to see, it's always been here, but our shining stars are starting to shine brighter, so maybe at any events we'd like to extend invites for some of the cheerleaders and from the schools to start coming out and let the community see what's happening here.
No.
So we're working hard, like I said, to the education committee, we've been bringing that up, so I think it'd be just an idea.
I agree. I'm pretty sure they won it just this weekend, so they were they were hot to get here and tell us about it. So you're not going to stop the up and comers. They're here. They performed. It's great. Look, just 3 years ago we didn't have this school. 3 years ago we didn't have Keysgate Charter School. 3 years ago we didn't have Mast Academy, which you just awarded tonight. So 3 years for 3 schools, and I understand there's a 4th on the way. So we may hit a home run with 4 schools in 4 years. So go education. Jim Trantham, speaking of education.
Speaking of education, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Council. Tonight I'm going to speak to you as an education person and also from the Education Committee from the City of Homestead. And I'd like to read a letter very quickly, if I may. That'll keep me on track here so that I don't run over time. In the last few months, more than 1,100 bills have been introduced at the state level in reference to gun control laws. While most federal and state laws deal with the sale and distribution of guns and who can and cannot legally buy or sell them, much attention has been given to school security, which sparked a national debate. No gun control law could have prevented the action that took the lives of 20 children and 6 teachers at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut in December. We will never know if an armed officer at the school, a school sentinel if you will, could have saved even one life. But if one life would have been worth the investment of an enhanced school safety. Most cities and school districts do not reject the concept of armed officers in schools, but claim that the funds are not available to add more security to the already stretched budgets in their jurisdictions. South Dakota, last week, passed a law to arm teachers. This law will go into effect July 1st, 2013. However, in a recent poll by CBS, 56% of the respondents said that they would not be comfortable with armed teachers, and then this begs the question, how do we deter anyone from bringing a weapon into a school? For years, Miami-Dade Schools has used school police in high schools, resource officers and security monitors in middle schools, and unarmed security monitors in elementary schools. Unarmed security monitors in elementary schools. This is not a deterrent for an armed intruder. At no additional cost to the school system, and no new taxes for the City of Homestead, for example, and no additional police officers added to the City of Homestead, no cost, extra cost, armed, certified, part-time, retired officers, reserve officers. We have 35,000 combat veterans returning next year from Afghanistan. Wouldn't they make good security monitors? And a lot of them would rather have that job than working at Walmart. Remember, a Walmart job was promised to them? For example, all they have to do is work half-day shifts for the same dollars as an unarmed security monitor that could fill the void in all elementary schools. I hired in my school, when I was an administrator, 3 security monitors, and they made, may I go on? And they made between $12 and $15 an hour. These men would be happy to work for that. You don't have to hire a regular day policeman for $35 an hour, 4-hour minimum plus fringe benefits. You don't have to do that. With an unanimous vote, the Homestead Education Committee has asked the Homestead City Council for an ordinance to require any new school or satellite that's brand new, that opens today, in a city to provide a certified armed sentinel security guard, while the children are in attendance, 180 days a year. And for new schools beginning July 1st, because their budgets are already set for this year, but they start a new year July 1st, 2013, all schools in the city of Homestead should be required to provide this same enhanced safety precaution. Our children's safety is too important to wait for federal, state, or county officials to decide on adequate protection. Homestead should act now and set the example. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Questions, comments?
Any questions?
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Jim, for bringing that forward. As he mentioned, Jim Trantham, I'm the liaison for the Education Committee. He's on the Education Committee, and this committee Mr. Trantham brought this as a motion to the floor, was seconded, was discussed, and unanimously, as he mentioned, basically I was supposed to bring this last week. Unfortunately,
right. I'm sorry. I appreciate you, really, Councilman Maldonado, but because you were not here last week, it couldn't be brought about through the committee of the whole.
That is
so
correct.
I apologize for bringing it up this way, but I didn't want you all to be, somebody comes to you and say, hey, do you see the paper this week where you all are going to have security guards or not have security guards? I didn't want you to be blindsided as a council. That's why I'm bringing it up tonight.
And that's quite right. I'm just kind of filling in some of the blanks of one of these items that I wanted to bring in last week. I was up in Washington with National League of Cities, which they put me on a board up there, and so we were going to bring this item. And thank you, Jim, for bringing it forward. And it's something that we should have a discussion. My board brought it as a recommendation, and what I would like to do, if not now, as soon as possible. I don't know how we would do this, but bring it up as a discussion item, because there's some good questions, and this is a debate and a discussion that's happening throughout the nation right now. I read recently that there's possibly funding that's going to happen, whether for resource school officers or for private organizations, but there are also schools throughout the United States that are doing something to protect the children of the school. So as a liaison and having the committee come before us and bring this, it's my job and my responsibility to bring it forward to this council, and so that we can have discussion on it. So
we asked the city clerk to put it on the next count. Simple as that.
okay.
It's on the next count, and we'll discuss it. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sure. Okay, next public comment. And it's SOS. Start off smart.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is going to be on a much lighter note. I would like to take a moment to remind everyone that we're coming up on the Champions for SOS. This year we're having a fundraising sock hop, and it will be held April 20th at the Champions Club at the Motorsports Complex, or at the Speedway. We guarantee you're going to have a great time, wonderful fun, and it benefits victims of family violence. As you know, we serve over 1,400 victims annually, and we cannot do that without the help of the community. Every year we hold 2 fundraisers. We hold a 5K in February, and then in April we hold a gala, or this year a sock hop. So we encourage everyone to come out and support this community and support the victims of crime, particularly the children. And just as a side note, I have been told that Elvis Presley will be reunited or reincarnated for one night only. So you may want to come see for yourself. Thank you.
Can I get you to talk a little bit about Lauren's Kids, because you're involved in that?
Yes.
SOS, please, for tomorrow. We'll give you 3 more minutes.
Okay. Lauren's Kids, it's a walk that occurs every year. It is from Lauren Booker. I'm saying her name wrong. Lauren Book. She walks 1,000 miles through the state of Florida every year during the month of March. She typically starts in Key West and walks to Tallahassee. And it's in order to bring awareness to children who are sexually abused. This is a fundraiser for her, and this year she's going to be doing it tomorrow. The walk starts at 12 noon, and I believe, Mayor, it's starting at Walgreens this year on 8th Street.
Correct.
Is that correct?
It's starting north at
Oh, at Mohair. At
272 and coming
272, and they're coming south, and then they're going north. See, I only walk where they tell me. I follow the crowd, so. But it's a wonderful fundraiser. If you can come out, please come out. You don't have to donate any funds. It's just you're walking to show your support for children who are sexually abused. You're making a statement.
And thank you very much. And with that said, I'm supplying the apples and oranges and whatever else they need after the walk. But there is a
Right.
hiccup in the security of it from 272 to Homestead, and it's about $560. And I would like to ask my council, it's about $86 per council person. If you would help me to secure that police department part of it, I would appreciate that. It's $86 a piece.
Got my support. I supported it in the past.
Okay. And the ones that you do find, the ones that you don't see it, I'll be more than happy to make it up, just so that it happens.
Thank you, Mayor. We appreciate that so much. I also want to say with SOS, with our fundraisers, this year with our sock hop, we have been so fortunate to have Councilman Wallman supporting our endeavor. That woman is a miracle worker. I've watched her work, and I'm in such awe. And so I wish she could be here tonight so we could publicly thank her. But you have quite a worker for this community. I'm truly amazed. Thank you very much for
Sandy.
the time.
All right.
Good evening, City Council,
evening,
Mr.
sir.
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
My name is Garrett Brolsma. I am the Aquatics and Membership Director at the Homestead YMCA, your YMCA right down the road. And I want to talk to you tonight about some things that we're doing in the community in regards to drowning prevention and water safety for not only our young ones, but for adults as well. So I want to give you some quick stats on the county and kind of where we are as far as drowning goes. If you may know, Miami-Dade County is actually the third highest county that has had drowning deaths in the United States. And as you may know, drowning is 100% preventable. So your YMCA right here in Homestead is here to help that. So this year alone, in 2013, we plan to teach about 500 swim lessons to any ages between 6 months to all the way through adults and seniors. So this is really great. We actually teach some kids water acclimation classes, get them water survival skills, and then eventually teach technique and swim strokes. So a really great thing about this also is that we understand that finances could be an issue for some individuals occasionally. What we know is that the Y is able to help these families, and we have a conviction that no child is ever turned away due to an inability to pay. So we are always going to support our youth and families in our community and make sure that they are able to learn how to swim and survive in the water. Lastly, I just wanted to mention that we also have a strong conviction about lifeguarding pools. And if you ever stop by the YMCA and come take a dip in our pool, we are always lifeguarded at all times just to make sure that we are the safest possible. And we also teach trainings to young adults, just like the ones that we have sitting here tonight, about how to save lives and how to prevent injuries from happening and how to prevent drowning loss that is obviously a substantial loss to a family and a community. Lastly, I just want to have a little takeaway about this for anybody who knows anybody that is a non-swimmer. We would love you to send them to the YMCA so we can make sure that they are able to survive in the water and be safe. And any young adults that you might know that have a conviction for a deeper meaning in a job, a lifeguarding opportunity is always wide open at the YMCA. So just wanted to let you all know about some of the good things that are going on at your Y right down the road. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Beauty Schools of America, I'd like to thank Mayor Bateman, the council members in the city of Homestead for having us here this evening. Welcome to the neighborhood, our new neighbors
I
in
guess you're right.
Portofino Plaza.
You were there first.
That's why I said our new neighbors. And we just want to let you know of the services that we offer. We have a wide variety of cosmetology, nails, the barber program, as well as the spa, skincare, and massage. And we do also offer seminars to the public, and we are just excited to offer also things in the community as far as we'll be at the Easter egg hunt this Friday doing face painting for all of the children there. And at this time I'd like to introduce the COO, Mr. Jeff Gonzalez, who's also a U.S. Marine Corps disabled veteran of 8 years.
Welcome.
Good evening, Homestead. We have 5 locations throughout the city of Miami and Dade area. We are currently under expansion. We serve over 2,100 students in the Miami-Dade area. It's a great service, to be a part of, and we help a lot of young men and women, who otherwise wouldn't have a chance or need a direction in life. And that's why we get into education. It's not to make money. It's to be that calm hand in the rough waters that people face today. You can choose any profession in the world, but education is one of the most beneficial things. And we have a graduate here and our career services director to give a little speech about some of their story.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. My name is Paola Ospina, and I work for Career Service. I am very blessed because I deal with everyone when they hit the end of the road and are ready for the market. We prepare them in many ways, and we go beyond the classroom. We provide them with skill sets, and we do mock interviews. We have a lot of salon and business owners come to the school and give us demos and speak about their existence in the business and how they were being successful, give us back some of their stories. I'm very proud tonight to have one of our graduates speak after I'm done. I would like to mention that we do a lot of community events, and if anyone is going to be holding any event, they can contact us, and I would be happy to maybe create a makeup and hair team. We can do face painting, even some massage services. We can provide that. Just give us a call and we'll be happy to give you that staffing. Also want to make sure that everyone knows, if you are in the beauty industry and you need staffing, we provide the service for lifetime. We don't cut the students off. We do this for alumni as well as newly grads. So it's about letting us know what the business needs and allowing me the chance to match them with a great candidate. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to one of our graduates, Miss Olga. She is one of our great success stories that I've had the pleasure to place, and she's a perfect example of what I see every day, how they change and how they progress throughout the year in school. She's a great example. Come in, Miss Olga.
Thank you, Paola. Good evening. I would like to thank the mayor and the councilmen and the councilwomen for this wonderful recognition on behalf of the city and Homestead and Beauty Schools of America. Thank you to the education that I received at Beauty Schools of America. I have been able to open a lot of doors in my life. Paola Espina was the one that hooked me up with the job, and I really appreciate that. It's a fabulous experience to work with everyone at Salon and Spa Renova. It's just a fabulous experience to work with everyone there and with everyone that I worked with in Beauty Schools of America. I would like to thank, my loving family that's with me today. My mom, they were the ones that really put me through this journey, and thank you so much.
It's beautiful.
Okay, I'd also take a minute to bring up one of our students. She started as a student, she then became a graduate, and she's now actually an instructor there, Miss Rhonda Knight.
Thank you very much, Deidre. Rhonda Knights, yes, is my name. I'm here as a proud student alumni of the Beauty Schools of America. I came to the Beauty Schools of America very impressed with the name, first of all. Walking into the doors and being introduced right away to a full-blown salon was what I was very impressed with, because I came there to move from being what they would call a kitchen beautician to being a full professional, which has been my experience at the Beauty Schools of America. I took every opportunity and grasped it as I went along. I felt proud to be there. I felt proud to graduate. I was very encouraged by the directors, by my instructors, and I was actually introduced to the profession of saying, hey, you need to become an instructor here. I wasn't thinking quite much of that, but now that's a position that I do hold. I'm now the third-level instructor to the Beauty Schools of America in Homestead, now serving Homestead. Very proud to be serving the students that are coming through who are very interested in being professionals as well. I'm very, very happy to be participating in their lives in that way. I work with a fantastic faculty and staff, from the directors, instructors, everybody are so much attentive to the students here, their needs, to see them grow and grow to become professionals. It's a beautiful place to be. I invite anyone to come for services. You're going to be pleased to come to be a student. You're going to be very, very pleased to become a professional and to open doors in your life. I introduce you to the Beauty Schools of America. I invite you and I welcome you. Thank you very much. Back to Deidre.
Thank you. In closing, I just want to let you know that we do also offer complimentary services for veterans, militaries, and as well as barber cuts. And we do also have salon services. And we'd like to invite, since we know that this is the time of year for prom season and for a lot of events going on, please contact us and we will definitely help you out with some free services for your staff.
Well, thank you very much. It was beautifully done. I tell you, if cosmetology is not your calling, public speaking may be. Because every one of you, it touched my heart. What a beautiful story from a couple of you there. It's really great. And I'm happy you're in Homestead. We're pleased. And you run a very clean, sharp operation. And we've become your neighbor now. And it's been wonderful in the short time we've been there.
Thank you, Mayor Bateman. Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jeff Stunkard. I'm with the Guardian Ad Litem program. It's a child advocacy program, if you're not familiar with it. It's a state agency that is overseeing children that are in foster care or group homes, children that have been removed from their homes due to neglect or abuse. We are in the Homestead area trying to find volunteers that will basically go through a training course and ultimately be assigned a child by a judge. And then you basically just look after that child's best interest. You meet with them at their home, you make sure they're in a comfortable, safe setting, and you report back to the courts as far as your recommendations that pertain to that child. The program is nationwide and just about in every county. I hate to say it, but historically this area of Homestead has been severely underrepresented by the program. The program's goal is to reach 100% of the children and to have a guardian ad litem for every children that finds himself or herself in an at-risk situation. And right now the numbers in Homestead are about 50%. So that's about every other child that has this guardian in their life. We find 50% to be unacceptable. We find that to be a failing grade. And I've been charged with getting that back up to 100% for the first time. I'm actually with the 16th Judicial Circuit, which is the Florida Keys program, and I'm working in conjunction with the Miami-Dade office downtown to try to meet into Homestead and address the situation that we find is severely underrepresented in the area. We hold training courses at the YMCA. They've been very kind to offer their space to us. Thank you to Garrett if he's still here. Actually, as we speak, the March class is graduating this evening, and we will start an April class. We're going to fluctuate the meetings from evenings to weekends to work days to try to accommodate everyone's schedule. April 6th, 13th, and 20th will be our next class. And after that training, then you can work at being assigned a child that you'll basically represent their best interest at any stage of a decision-making process. And each month we'll have different trainings, and we're going to hold them in different places. Redland Country Club was kind enough to offer their space as well. So we're going to try to make it as convenient as possible. And if you want, I have information on the back table there. It has my phone number and my website and email, but my phone number is 393-5335. If you're interested in jotting that down, you can call me just if you want information or have questions, or just want to get on an email list where you find out more about it, 393-5335. And again, if there's information on the back table, my business cards, if you'd be interested, I'd be happy to speak with anyone. If you're not personally interested, if you could take a flyer, if you know of a civic group perhaps that you're a member of, a church group, friends, neighbors, family, we really have our work cut out for us, so we really need to get the word out. And I'd be happy to work with anyone and everyone in that regard.
Well, thank you very much, and I'm very interested, so, you know, I'll be calling the
Okay,
number.
I believe that you have information,
right
but
here.
great. Great.
Quick question.
It's a worthy cause, and really, I mean, as far as bang for your buck, 4 to 10 hours a month is all it's really going to take out of your life, and you really have the ability to change a child's life. Some of these kids have never had someone in their life that they can look up to or is responsible, and that's all we're looking for. So I thank you for your time.
One question?
Yes.
On your poster it says man up, but this is open for both men and women?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, as you'll note on that.
I just didn't want to have confusion.
Actually, you have several different flyers there. They basically have the same information, but I made that one because I found it disappointing to find out that 23% of men volunteer. And that's really low. Most of our volunteers are women, but given that there's boys and girls in the program, it's nice to have a mix. We're looking for every walk of life. You just have to have an interest in helping a child, improving your community, and you do have to pass an FBI background check. Obviously, if you're dealing with children, you're going to be fingerprinted and looked at from the federal government. But just please get in touch with me if you have any information or need any information or have any questions.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a nice night.
You too.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm coming to you as the Director of Homestead Main Street. My name is Yvonne Knowles, 43 North Chrome Avenue. I just want to bring the attention to the public and everybody here that we are having our next event. The Homestead El Gusto comes back this Saturday, March 23rd, and we're also going to introduce a new concept. We're going to have the big movie in the park, courtesy of FPL Turkey Point sponsorship. We're very grateful for their sponsorship. We're going to have A Life of Pi. Everybody I've talked to has said, I've wanted to see that film, but nobody's gone to the movie house to pay for it. Now you have a chance to see it on a big 20-foot screen in Losner Park for free. Bring your blankets, bring your lawn chairs, come and enjoy this Saturday night, a dinner and movie in downtown Homestead. We're going to have 14 food trucks. We're going to have tables set up and chairs for people to eat at the tables, and grab your lawn chair and go down and get comfortable in front of the movie screen. And we'll be showing the movie at 7:30 on Saturday evening. So everybody come on down to Homestead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and thank you for the job you do.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How you guys doing?
Good, good.
My name is Jodrick Ohake. I'm from Chefs on the Run, 10 East Maury Drive. I come here because usually I know that my wife and my mother-in-law are the face of Chefs on the Run. But I'm really here to say thank you to everybody in the council that came together and gave us their sponsorship through some of the needs that we need to have a full success on South Beach Food and Wine Festival. And I really want to say thank you, and also there's a lot of other people that are not here that I can say thank you to. But local businesses, your money was put in well use. Some of the portion of the money went to local businesses. Our credit threats were very nice, good to us. Sponsoring the shirts, Minimum Press. Mayor Bateman, thank you very much for your donation. Ms. Patricia. Councilwoman Patricia was very generous on being our first sponsorship, and you know, it was very challenging. Got a little picture that going over here. It was a foggy morning. I actually had 103 fever that caught up the night before, so it was a miracle what we actually did on that day. We're very proud of the reaction that we got from the crowd, not believing that a restaurant came from this city with the quality product that we put in. That was possible because of your sponsorship from you and all of our local businesses that came together and united with us. And it was a really overwhelming feeling, a personal feeling that I had when I saw these businesses that came together and our support to put their name out there for people that came from all over the world for this very prestigious culinary event. And that's pretty much it. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, everybody that helped us with your wallets, but also kept us in your thoughts. Thank you very much.
We're very proud of you, and keep up the good work. Your food is tremendous.
Thank you.
Jessica Oaxaca, Chefs on the Run, 10 East Maury Drive. I want to make sure to mention a couple of things. One is we have an updated menu. A lot of the specials that people loved, now we have permanently. We have a lunch menu till 3, and then from 3 to 6, we have a dinner menu. Also, we are open now on Friday and Saturday by popular demand until 10, and Saturdays from 4 to 10. Also, we are showing a local artist that I've been trying to get local artists to show their work, and we're going to change it every 2 months, any local artists interested. Also, in the back, there in that back table, I have these menus, I have this, and then I have this that also shows what we gave the 8,000 people that saw us at South Beach. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, that paid for this. Another thing is, it showed Homestead, like he said, our reaction was, "You're from Homestead?" And then we got, "Oh, I live in Homestead. The only place to eat is Olive Garden and Longhorn." And I said, "No, you're on the wrong side of town. Go to the other side." And we've gotten people from South Beach that said, "I can't believe you're here." And then we've gotten people ask, "Why are you in Homestead?" And I would say, "Why not?" And there was 4 of us in a 6x7 table feeding 8,000 people, the photos that I showed, and we'll have them on we have them on Facebook. You can see the magnitude of people, so I was very proud to be there, and I hope you all like your hats.
Thank you. I'm glad you said
Thank
that.
you.
See, Richard, in the bag, there was only a hat, no money.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for everything. You guys work hard. You work very hard.
How you doing, Mr. Mayor and council members? My name's Gary McKinn. I am a citizen here of Homestead and a volunteer in the city of Homestead, as you well know. Most of you know me. It come to my attention this past weekend, and it's really bothered me, is we're out driving around in Cutler Bay, and Lord and behold, what do I see? A code enforcement truck running around all over town on taxpayers' money in the city, in Cutler Bay area, not in the city of Homestead. Why is this happening, and why is this possible?
You saw one of our code enforcement?
Yes, sir. I saw one of your trucks.
Well, I'm gonna direct that to where it goes. That's our city manager, George Betsis, and those.
That's fine. My problem is with this is that I know the budgets are tight. You guys are scraping to get us every penny we can, especially here like the community center. We've asked for many things and we haven't been able to get because of budgets. But when you see stuff like this happening, it kind of really sets a fire and you want to know why this is happening and why is this getting away and why is it so important that a code enforcement officer has the right to take their vehicle home when they're off duty. It's not like they're an armed police officer or so forth like that.
Well, I think we'll look into it, right? Is that a good answer? He's going to look into it for you?
That'd be fine.
Feel free to call his office. Yeah, did you get a truck number or tag number? Or?
Actually, I could identify the driver.
But if you then
personally.
take that up with the manager, okay? Would you
That's
want to address
fine.
it? Thank you very
But
much.
it is a problem that I feel in my heart that really needs to be
addressed
by you guys.
The chief be willing to address that now, if you'd like.
Sure.
Well, first of all, you know, I appreciate you bringing it forward. But one of the things that we've done, and I'm going to double check it, but I think that most people, a lot of them live outside of the city, and they on call to come into the city in case we have a problem. But if I'm not mistaken, I think that they actually pay some amount of money to take the vehicles home, and I think that was something that was done through the tax bill. I can double check it for you, but everything we do here in Homestead is a reason for it. And it's not for the people in Palmetto Bay, it's for people in the city of Homestead. But I'll research it and get back with me, and I'll tell you how it's done and why it's done,
Okay,
and I'll
that's
assure
fine.
you that there's no abuse involved in what we do.
That's fine and dandy, but the other situation I see with this is too, 162nd Avenue and 288th Street. There is a code enforcement truck parked in their yard, backed in. I don't care what time of day it is, what day of the week it is, you go there, that truck's just sitting there. Why is this truck just sitting there if this be the case? And again, it comes back to the money that you guys are putting out for this. This truck should be being used, not sitting in somebody's private driveway.
Well, I'm kind of aware of what you're talking about because I see the truck parked there too, but they only work 8 hours. And if you see it parked there, it's the days off and probably the days that they're not working 8 hours. They have a full-time job. We have a supervisor that supervises them to make sure that they work 8 hours, but I can assure you that if it's parked there and you see it there all the time, if you come to my office and look at their roster and see when they work and when they're off and when the days they have off, you'll see that vehicle is definitely used within the city of Homestead. And any other question you have about anything like that, you know, you can bring it to me, and I can surely give you an answer for it, because we all here are concerned about anything that goes on outside of the city when it's dealing with one of our vehicles.
Right.
Okay?
And I thank you for coming up, because there's always two sides to every story, and I appreciate you coming up, and we'll get to the bottom of it. If it's probably an answer.
That's all we
An
could
answer.
ask for is, you know, if there's misappropriations there, it should be dealt with, I know. But it's just, you know,
Okay.
I still don't understand why a code enforcement officer has to take their vehicle home. I can understand it with a police officer, but why does code enforcement have to?
And I believe we even have even for the police officers, 25-mile radius or something, don't we?
And like I said, you know, you get back with me, I can probably tell you exactly why they take it home, and I can assure you, I believe that they're paying to take their vehicle home, and like I said, they're on call when we have problems within the city, and you know we have them all the time, and a lot of times, you know, we have them come in, but as you know, in the city of Homestead Special Police Department, you know, we do address situations like that. Nothing that comes to my attention is not addressed, and I'm quite sure you're aware of what I'm talking about.
Very aware. I've known you for a very long time. I'm very aware.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Thank you very much.
thank you, gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Just a question to the chief. Do we have some type of, or should we have something that describes the policy of your department in reference to vehicles and maybe Mr. Managers to some of our fleet vehicles, if they're seen outside of the limits? You know, you start to question. I myself, you know, I'm throughout Miami-Dade County, and sometimes I might see a police vehicle or a city homestead vehicle outside of our jurisdiction. So the question is that, what are they doing here? And so maybe some guidelines or something that could help not only ourselves but our citizens whenever these questions are asked. So we'll show transparency and say this is what we do, why we do it, and our policies, and we could always have a discussion about that. So do we have anything like that, or is that something that you guys ever thought about?
No, we do. A lot of things that we do is contractual, and a lot of times, you know, we do things in lieu of a salary. Just in case, you know, he's not aware of how we do things. For the last 4 years, the employees of the city of Homestead forego their raise to make sure that the taxpayers don't have to pay any more money, you know, to get services. So people are not aware of that because we don't go around talking about it and bragging about some of the things that we do. But the city of Homestead, through our leadership here, we do a lot of things to make sure that the people in the city of Homestead are well taken care of, and the service that we give them, we make sure that we try to maintain the same services without putting the money out. So we do have those policies in place. If people were to come to my office or come to whoever the director's in charge of those things, they will find that out. But you know, sometimes, you know, they're not aware of it, and they come to City Hall and they voice their opinion. We don't have the information right in front of us, but I can assure you that all of us sit at this table, we have a reason for everything we do, and we make sure our people are accountable, especially when they're working, and also when they're not working, especially when they're using a city vehicle. Thank you.
Okay, yes.
I think he was over 3 minutes, wasn't he?
That's okay.
The name is Mike Rice. I'm a local fencing contractor here. I want to thank the Mayor and the City Council for letting me say something. First of all, I want to say that I spoke to Judy Wardman tonight. Her husband had the operation, and he's much better, and he's gone home. She wanted me to convey that to you. Everything okay. My little thing tonight is not much. I'll try and get it done as quick as I can. Maybe a bit humorous in some things, but it's what I've observed. I call it memory lane. I came here in '71. We opened a business in Homestead. Homestead was flourishing. It was really going good. It was bustling. Downtown here I'm talking about. In fact, the first 2 or 4 weeks here, we had a restaurant. I worked for the mayor for a couple of weeks, which reminds me, I don't know whether you paid me yet. I don't know whether the stipulation has gone or not. But we had a great time. We knew everybody in Homestead. Walk around, talk to everybody. Everything's fine. I go down the other day, I thought, so, well, let me go down to Washington Avenue. So I go down to Washington Avenue while I got the shop and everything. And I noticed that people knew me and I knew them, and Tom, Dick, and Harry. I'm not that important, but still, everybody knew everybody. So walking down, everybody could speak. Okay, fine, that's good. You've got that so-called statue down there. I'll get to that in a second. So I'm walking around, I come back, and I noticed we have J. Byron's, we had Sears here and everything. So it was bustling. We had a big rainstorm one day, and people were going there with their rowboats. I think you remember that, canoes downtown. Anyway, I decided the other day to go downtown, look around again. I might be upsetting a couple of people who spoke here tonight, but that's the way I felt. The way I look at it is this. I went downtown, looked around. The street isn't too bad. This is Main Street. But on the curb, there's a lot of dirt. There are beer bottles hanging around, and inside the rooms, or the houses, or the shops, and that is a lot of garbage. So I looked at myself, I looked around. And the only people that I could see there that were busy right now was Home Hardware, across the road was Subway, then the new place which opened up, and obviously Jehovah's Witness. They're all walking around there. So I walked a bit further. I came across the little clock tower, which was given to Jack Levy years ago, which reminds me the little thing is wearing out. They'll probably get the new one. Then I looked in the left-hand corner, and I noticed that we had a big stone sat there. I went over there and thought, that's a good idea for the veterans in foreign war. That's great. That's beautiful. Then I looked to the left, and I saw this monstrosity of a building, the red one, the white one there, which has been here for years, which we all know is the Seminole Theater. So I looked at it, and I thought to myself, that's strange, you know, why haven't they done anything? They spent $99,000 on the roof, and they couldn't spend $100, because if you spend $100,000, you have to get the special bond. So the guy just sort of tucked in underneath. I don't know whether we asked anybody locally to look at it. I'm sure we could have got it cheaper than that, but beside the point. I looked inside, I thought we spent that much, and there's nothing inside. Things empty. If it is like the gentleman's, wait a minute. So anyway, I walked back and I thought to myself, well, what should we do? So I came back, and that's basically what I'm trying to say to you. If we don't do something about Homestead, Homestead reminds me of Back to the Future, with the clock tower and the Seminole sign. And I felt it's not very historical anymore, because you've got all these medical buildings. Now you're going to turn around to your wife and say, like you used to, go and look at the shops, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the other week I went down to pick up a permit, and I phoned that you went to a new place downtown. I went downtown, looked inside it, beautiful place, and I was thinking, why don't you guys, instead of building a new one downtown, buy the one that's there? To me, it's logical, it's sensible to buy the one that's there. And where you got that empty place there, why don't you think about putting a brand new police station, which you need? And that's basically what I'm looking at. And get back very quickly, and I've got to get going, is I talk about the Seminole Theater. Why don't you take the sign down, give it to Ruth Campbell, put it in the museum? Because it's not historical anymore if we keep putting the, keep putting these shops downtown. Are you going to turn around to your wife and say, come on, let's get dressed, we're going downtown to see all the medical buildings? It's not, it's like it is now. So I suggest that the city council, whoever's in charge of what do you call it, clean up, they start cleaning up downstairs, Steve, because I think it needs cleaning up.
Michael, only because you worked for me for 3 days, you got 6 minutes. Are you done?
No, I got one thing with the city manager here. I went down there, you got city manager, assistant city manager, assistant city manager. I couldn't find a parking space, and I had to park the other side of the dumpster, because you got 3 parking spaces. That's about it, that's all, I just put it there. But thank you all very much indeed.
All right, Michael.
Give Merv a call, would you?
No, thank you, sir. Okay, moving right along. We have finished public comment. No further public comment. Fred, did you have something to say tonight? I don't want to leave without you. Fred, did you have something to say? Did you have something to say, Fred? Earlier you told me you had something to say. Make sure we get it all.
My name is Fred Rhodes. I was born in Homestead 87 years ago, and I love this town. I love living here. I love the people on the council. I'll thank all of you for helping me get that property that I own, getting an egress and egress in there. We got it in there with your help, and thank you very much.
Fred wasn't here early. I know we're through with public comment, but Fred, we took this picture of Fred in the last night, the last day that we were at the City Hall, that Fred was the builder of this City Hall, 1975. And a picture of him and Ruth Campbell. There you go, Fred.
Thank you.
Had it done for you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, Mayor. I want to thank everybody on the council and the city manager and the city attorney and planning and zoning board helping me get the egress and egress to the property. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Fred. Okay, moving right along. Additions, deletions, deferrals. Any?
None other than just to note that we have an alternate to item 24 on the agenda. So we'll take up the alternate, but it doesn't require any action by the council at this time.
Okay, item 24?
Tab 24.
Okay, discussion. Here we're going to have a brief, quick discussion on the Chrome Avenue truck bypass. Car number 785, discussion. Because we've had several. I don't believe it's ever going to happen, but make a believer out of it.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. My name is George Gomez with the Florida Department of Transportation. I'm the project manager on the Chrome Bypass Project Development and Environmental Study. We wanted to come present to you tonight to update you on the progress of the study and certain refinements of the recommended alternative that you've seen before. Here with me tonight is Mr. Jeff Easley from RS&H Consulting Group, who will go over a brief presentation to update you on the study.
Thank you, sir.
What we're passing out is a copy of the PowerPoint presentation that you can see if you can't see it up on the screen. Very quick update of where we are with the project. I know all of you are aware of this project. It's been ongoing. The PD&E study's been ongoing since 2008. We were on hold from 2010 until about 3 months ago. And we started fresh, and we gave you an update last March, about a year ago today, a year ago pretty much. We gave you an update on what we were doing, and we thought we'd come back and give you another update. There have been a few changes. Some of these slides you've seen. Our project study area actually is from Avocado south to Flagler Avenue. That's the part on Chrome. That's the official project limits. We are looking at a truck bypass to downtown historical district. And the objective is to make the downtown area a more safe environment for bicyclists, pedestrians. And the existing condition, what's outlined there is the downtown historical district. And I can't see that far. I'm going to have to get out now so I can follow along.
So basically it's Campbell to 1 and 1 to 3, 4, 4.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, I had to put mine under my little light here that the manager was so kind to give me, and I could barely see it.
Yeah, and of course, all of you know the key issues with the existing conditions is all the pedestrian movement, the on-street parking, the downtown businesses, the historical district. That's what we're trying to avoid, and that's what we're looking for. This is just a photograph. I'm sure you're very familiar with the trucks going through downtown. You have the produce trucks. Many of those use a lot of the streets adjacent to downtown to get to and from the fields and the farmers market. Our PD&E study, as I mentioned, we started back in 2008, and we've looked at a total of 12 different alignments around, and we've had several meetings. We believe we've developed what we're going to recommend is one that we can accomplish what we're trying to accomplish. All of these alternatives were screened. We screened all of them through meetings with stakeholders, through presentations to the public. We looked at environmental impacts, we looked at traffic, we looked at right-of-way impacts, land use impacts. And from the 12, we were able to narrow those down to 5. And we're here tonight with our recommended alternative that we will be developing throughout the remaining part of this PD&E study, and we call it Alternative F. Now, when I was here back last March, we had an alternative L, and that was Campbell Drive. And basically the difference, Campbell Drive between Chrome and US 1. When I was here in March, we were considering between Chrome and the Turnpike. And there were a lot of questions about why are we going all the way out to the Turnpike. We had a couple meetings with the city manager and staff at that time, and since then we've had coordination efforts and talking with the central office of FDOT, and we've convinced them that the best route is Campbell Drive from Chrome to US 1.
Hello.
So the recommended alternative is one of our original alternatives, which was alternative F. The new bypass route will be Campbell Drive from Chrome to US 1, US 1 south. Now, trucks that are going to and from the farmers market can use Davis, Parkway, or Palm. And we will be doing improvements at those. Of course, the conditions that exist on Campbell today, you have 9-foot travel lanes. We can't put trucks on Campbell with 9-foot travel lanes. Also, all of the turning radii at all of the intersections, it's too small for trucks to turn. They have to go up on the curb. So those are conditions that we're dealing with and that we propose to improve. The next slide shows the existing typical Campbell Drive. There's 4 lanes. You have a 10-foot median, but you have 9-foot travel lanes. And that is not advantageous to diverting trucks. We know that. And of course, we have been doing this a lot. These are trucks trying to make the turn. The one on the right is a truck westbound on Campbell trying to go northbound on Chrome. And then you can see the one on the left is a truck traveling eastbound on Campbell. It takes up the whole travel lane. So with our alternative F, our proposed improvements that will be part of that is we will widen Campbell Drive between Chrome and US 1 to provide an outside travel lane of 12 feet, an inside travel lane of 11 feet, and then the median would be widened also. We would do intersection improvements to accommodate the trucks turning, to make sure they can turn and stay within their own lanes at Chrome Avenue and Campbell Drive, US 1 and Campbell Drive, US 1 and Davis Parkway, US 1 and Palm Drive, Chrome Avenue and Palm Drive, and Chrome Avenue and Davis Parkway. I mean, the intersection improvements would be minor. They would be widening the turn radius in the directions the trucks would be turning. There would be some right-of-way, just corner clips. There would nothing major. Maybe we may have to relocate a signal pole, a traffic signal pole, but nothing that would be major at the intersections. We have 2 typical section alternatives that we're considering for Campbell Drive. The first slide, that is the state standard. Any state project that you're looking to, according to Florida statute 6335.065, I think I memorized that right. Any state project that's considering the reconstruction, the widening, or the change of any state roadway, you have to incorporate pedestrian and bicycle facilities. Meaning if we do not put in a bike lane, we have to get a design variation and we have to prove why a bike lane is not logical. Now, we are evaluating that. Do we want a bike lane on a truck bypass? But we have 2 typical sections that we're considering. Our alternative 1 would widen Campbell Drive to provide an inside lane of 11, an outside lane of 12, with a 15.5-foot median. That's standards for an SIS facility. We would provide a 6-foot sidewalk and a 4-foot bike lane. There would be additional right-of-way that would be needed on each side of Campbell Drive. We're evaluating that now to make sure that we can minimize any impacts to any of the businesses along there, either permanently or during construction. The second alternative we're considering, it's the same as alternative 1, with the exception it does not have a bike lane. And of course, it's 8 feet less, so you would require less right-of-way on each side. And this would be between, these typical sections are showing the main portion between Chrome and actually Northeast First Road. And from Northeast First Road to US 1, you have an additional lane in the eastbound direction that opens up into a turn lane at US 1 eastbound. That area is not as critical because we have a lot more room and we have right-of-way there that's available. This is the critical portion of Campbell Drive that would be widened. What we're doing now is we're evaluating both of these alternatives. We're laying these projects out on aerials. We're looking at the impacts. We're looking at the drainage requirements because we will be moving the medians out, moving the curb and gutter back, so we will be affecting the drainage. So we will be included drainage improvements as part of our project. We're looking to minimize any impacts to the adjacent businesses, and we're also having to look at access management along this section because this will be a state road. I'll talk about that a little bit in a minute, but the plan is to transfer this section of Campbell Drive and make it part of the state highway system. So we have to design this facility per state standards, state design standards, and also access management standards. And that's what we're doing now, is we're developing all that information. We don't have all the answers today, exactly what it's going to look like. We will have that information at our Project Advisory Committee meeting that's coming up in May. Of course, with any project development environment study, you have an environmental analysis portion. We're looking at social and cultural impacts. We do not expect any archaeological historical sites to be impacted. We do not involve any wetlands along the corridor or wildlife habitat. Noise will be something that we're evaluating. We will be diverting trucks from Chrome to Campbell Drive between Chrome and US 1's primarily. It's primarily commercial, so the impacts would not be the same if it was residential. Air quality and contamination, anything that along the corridor that could be contaminated, since we will be installing drainage improvements, we have to evaluate that and identify any mitigation that would go along with that. Public involvement for the project, which we've had several meetings with elected officials and agency briefings. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in my own meeting here. Public involvement, we've had several briefings with elected officials and agencies. We've had 3 project advisors. We have a project advisory committee as part of this project. Our first meeting was back in April of 2009. We had another meeting in July of 2009. We had another one in January of 2010, and we have one scheduled. The next meeting would be in May of this year. We've had 2 public alternatives workshops. The first one was in June of 2009. The second one in February of 2010. And as I said earlier, a lot of the alternatives we presented to the public, we took a lot of their comments, most of them negative. We took that back and we have fine-tuned and tried to tailor an alternative that we could get the most public consensus. Upcoming meetings, the PAC meeting, our Project Advisory Committee meeting, will be in May. The date has not been set. We have to coordinate that to make sure there's no conflicts, but invitations will be sent out for that. And our public hearing for the project currently is scheduled for July of this year. Our project schedule, and I know that's very small, that's what happens when a project goes too long, you can't see. The red line is where we are today. We're completing our engineering and environmental analysis of our recommended alternative. We do not expect to have to do any widening to US 1. I should have mentioned that. Campbell Drive needs to be widened. US 1 does not. It currently conforms to SIS design standards. We will not have to do any widening on US 1, just at the intersections and radius widenings. With the PD&E, the next steps is we want to get a consensus from the community on our recommended alternative. That goes a long way in getting funding for the project to implement it. The City of Homestead, I know you passed a resolution endorsing alternative L. We've changed from L to F, so we would like a City of Homestead resolution endorsing alternative L. As I mentioned, Campbell Drive would be transferred between Chrome and US 1 to the state highway system. The City of Homestead would make that request to the county, that would make that request to FDOT. Now, the SIS designation, Campbell Drive is part of the strategic intermodal system, and that's the whole thing that is driving why we're using Campbell Drive, because Campbell Drive is the most, it's really the only alternative corridor that we evaluated that can be brought to SIS standards to reroute the SIS corridor from Chrome, Campbell to US 1 South. And that's what will happen. Chrome Avenue between Campbell Drive and US 1, south of Campbell Drive to US 1, will be taken off the state highway system, and that will become a city road or a county road. No longer it will be on the state highway system. The state highway system will be transferred to Campbell Drive, so between Chrome and US 1, that will be the new SIS roadway, and then US 1 will be added to the SIS network all the way south. And all of that means is, since Chrome will no longer be on the SIS and no longer be a state highway, trucks can be restricted to go through downtown, meaning you can actually issue a ticket to a truck that goes through downtown. And it also means that the median that was proposed on Chrome Avenue south of Lucy to US 1 no longer will be constructed. That will be a county road. The city will have say on what happens to Chrome, coordinate with the county. The new bypass route, Chrome, Campbell to US 1 South, that will be the new SIS system all the way south. And that way, when all of that happens, Chrome Avenue will be turned back over to the county. The state will have jurisdiction of Campbell. Trucks can be restricted through downtown.
So therefore, Chrome, and on that section of Chrome, from Campbell to the city limits, at the end of the city limits, will be taken care of by the county also? Maintained and...
Well, who maintains, well, this is a question to you. Your non-state roads, who maintains those?
County.
Well, the county
unless
would.
they're ours, and we have our own that run through the city, but the one you're talking about, Campbell, is a county road.
I mean, that could be transferred to the county if that's the city's preference. It could be transferred to the city. I mean, the main thing, it just will no longer be a state highway. I mean, the state will mill and resurface before they turn it over, but...
How long is that good for?
Well, I mean, that's
10
actually
years.
in the work program to actually take place very soon, the milling and resurfacing.
I think the manager's going to recommend we turn it over to the county.
Well, I mean, the city has to make the request of turning Campbell's a county
Right,
road, correct?
correct.
So the county would make the request to the DOT to take transfer, and then the DOT would accept that. Now, the state owns Chrome. They would make the request, most likely to the county.
There you go.
To take, I mean, that's, if that's the city's, we would make the request to the county to take over Chrome. And then also the de-designation of Chrome from the SIS, all of that it's policy, it takes time. The only thing is the timing, the actual designation of Campbell Drive as an SIS route and the de-designation of Chrome Avenue from the SIS can't take place until money is programmed for the actual improvements to Campbell Drive. It doesn't have to be open to traffic but the money has to be programmed and it has to be far enough in the system that it's a sure thing it's going to happen, and then the state will go through the process of de-designating Chrome from Campbell South and designating Camel Drive from Chrome to US 1.
Okay.
I know that's a little bit
No,
confusing, but
it's
that's what we're
it's
trying
really
to
not.
work towards.
It's really not, because some of us have been dealing with it for 10 years. You know, this isn't a new thing to myself, and I would just like, you know, repeat to us what you would like, how you would like us to rework that resolution, so I can see if this council is interested in reworking that resolution. So reiterate that part to us, and we can get on. I think we get the picture.
Okay. Well, I mean, something, I guess I could say the exact same resolution you passed
Right.
for L, just change L to F, and that
Okay.
would be good enough for our
Okay,
purposes.
how does this council feel about that?
I've got a couple questions. As you were speaking, I heard of improvements going to Campbell. Well, as the trucks are coming down Chrome southbound and going to turn left onto Campbell, I don't see anything mentioned in there as to what, other than that there might be a little bit of right-of-way taken away. How is that intersection going to be improved? Because right now, if you have one semi, he stops the entire, I mean, if we were to get two semis there at that corner trying to turn left, the entire flow southbound would be stopped. And then if if we had them there, if a gentleman was trying to turn his truck to the right, there's no way he's going to come around. So could you just tell me before I say yes? I mean, I'm all for it, but I'd like to know what the plan is for Chrome north of Campbell as the trucks come down south and as they would make the right and head back at it.
Well, there's a couple different options we're looking at, and again, that is the major intersection, because today trucks that are on Campbell, the few that use Campbell that are going westbound that want to turn and go northbound cannot without blocking a whole lane of traffic southbound. So that movement, we're concerned with, there's two primary movements, southbound to eastbound and westbound to northbound. So we can actually widen the turning radius in the northeast quadrant of that intersection. We can stay out of the right-of-way of the funeral home. We can widen that turning radius so a truck can actually turn. And you got to remember, in the future, today there's 9-foot lanes, and you have a 10-foot, you have a 9-foot turn lane and a 9-foot through lane, and you have two 9-foot lanes eastbound. Well, those lanes are going to be wider. We're going to widen there to provide a 12-foot outside lane, 11-foot. We'll have a 10-foot, 11 and 12, so you'll have a bigger throat, if you will, to accept trucks. So we can make that improvement. And then coming southbound into Campbell, with the wider lanes, they have a wider radius. We're also considering the on-street parking. And now this is a more radical, but we're considering what we would need to do there. The on-street parking on the west side of Chrome, between Campbell and the next block, take that out, shift the southbound lanes to the west to give trucks that are making that left a lot larger radius to turn into Campbell. Now that would be not our recommended alternative today. We're pretty confident that we can widen the turning radius, and with the widened lanes on Campbell, trucks will be able to make the turn from Chrome onto Campbell and from Campbell on the Chrome and stay within their existing
So I guess
travel lanes.
my ultimate question is then that intersection is going to be taken care of and made sure that everything flows smoothly before I mean, when you're in the design phase, it won't be an afterthought as many things happen.
Oh, no. I mean, it's not that complicated of a design project. You have an intersection, Campbell, Chrome, intersection US 1, Campbell.
Yeah, I just didn't hear it mentioned when you were talking, so I just wanted to make sure it's on the radar and being addressed at some
I
level.
mean, we would never, by our public hearing, we will have our final recommended alternative. We'll have intersection drawings showing exactly what we're proposing to do at Campbell and Chrome and US 1, all the intersections, as well as plans that show the widening of Campbell.
Thank you.
Any further questions from council?
Mr. Mayor, just for clarification, just so I know what I'm voting on. And I have no problem with endorsing the F instead of the L, with everything else being the same. But again, my concerns are the same, making sure that the project improvements are in place and that they are sufficient to not cause problems. So I assume that somewhere along the line, we're going to see this again in a more complete fashion. Is that the case? Because this is more of a concept we're voting on. We're not voting to approve the specific intersection improvement. We don't have plans. We don't have drawings. We just have concepts. So I just want to make sure that I endorse the concept, but before the meat get put on the bones, specifically, I'll be able to see this again just to make sure that it is providing enough safety.
Oh,
for our-
absolutely. I mean, as part of just the PD&E, I mean, we're doing planning and conceptual design, which is not final design by any means. You'll see conceptual design if you come to the Project Advisory Committee meeting, we can come back before the public hearing and present our final concept designs. And then when the project goes to final design, there also is a public involvement piece where 30% plans can be presented to you, 60% plans can be presented to you, 90% plans can be presented to you, all the way up to when the bulldozers are out there.
L to F. L to F.
Just flip it. Take off a line.
Can we move forward in some kind of this is very minor. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Nays? Item carries.
Yeah, we'll come back and with a formal resolution. We have to, but
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you for waiting through all of our public comments. Okay, consent agenda.
move it.
Okay, second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Nays? All right, item carries. We are moving straight to public hearing, ordinance land use items. Tab 17, you want to do all that swearing in stuff?
Yes, please be advised, the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment upon any of these items, please indicate the item number you would like to address when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff has made their presentations on each item. Swearing in, all testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish to either be cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the council to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. The full agenda packet on each item is hereby entered into the record. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization, and further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk. In accordance with Code Section 2-591, any lobbyists must register before addressing the council on any of the following items. At this time, council members must disclose any ex parte communications they've had concerning any of the following quasi-judicial items.
Tab 17, car number 741 with Mr. Jason Bass, representative.
Hearing no others, at this time the clerk will swear in any persons who wish to testify on any of the following quasi-judicial items.
Please stand and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, please state your name, hereby swear or affirm that the information I present shall be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Thank you. You may be seated.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Before we take tab 17, car number 741, if we could, out of order, take the corresponding tab, which is tab 21, which is the future land use map amendment first, before you hear the rezoning.
Okay, by all means. Tab 21, car number 742, number 2012, small-scale future land use map.
Correct. That's the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting the request of Camarillo Site 1, Inc. for a small-scale future land use map amendment to the comprehensive plan by changing the land use designation of two parcels totaling approximately 4.07 acres from light commercial use, LCU, to industrial use, IU, for property located south of the Homestead extension of the Florida Turnpike, east of 162nd Avenue, and northwest of East Maury Drive. as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. This is second and final reading.
Please. Proceed. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Staff recommends approval of this item. It is second reading. The applicant intends to construct a telecommunications tower on the site and an office building on the undeveloped parcels, and this requires a small-scale amendment to the future land use map. The property currently has a future land use map designation of LCU, or light commercial use, and is zoned AU, agricultural. The applicant has also concurrently filed an application to rezone the parcel to the light industrial use I-1 to allow the tower. In the rezoning, the applicant has proffered some restrictive covenants to the uses that will be used, and I think it's probably most appropriate to visit those in that request. But we recommend approval of this item.
Okay, thank you. Questions and comments? Yes, Mr. Burgess.
Yes, sir.
Myself, and I believe Councilman Shelley had some questions last time about some uses that were still allowed over there. And I believe the applicant had said that they were going to scratch some of them out. Have you had a chance to talk to the applicant or the representatives and take care of the ones that were?
Yes, sir. The applicant has proffered in Exhibit B of the CAR for the rezoning, which is tab 17, a declaration of covenants and conditions and restrictions. What we did was they provided us a list of items that they wanted in those districts. Essentially, these are the B1 and B2 uses, and what they include, in addition, they have the radio tower, which is an industrial use, which they have in there. The things that they took out that you'll see in this list, I mean, it's just a list of things that they want. The things on this list things that are not on this list are auctioneers, are storefront churches, telegraph and telephone offices, video rentals, and then automotive service stations, which include retail, meaning they will be able to sell things like spark plugs or tires or things of that nature. Those are the things that are not included, that they took out.
And I believe we'd asked for like radiator shops and things like that.
Yeah, and I believe that all would fall under the automotive uses that they took out.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Shelley.
Just to follow up on the same line of questioning, because I noticed that our Exhibit B does not have necessarily those additional changes.
We asked them to provide us a list of the uses that they wanted in there. And so we didn't get a list. I think initially we got a list of the things that they didn't want. We asked them that they needed to give us an affirmative list of the things that they wanted in there, like our zoning code shows the permitted uses. So today I went back and took the list that they provided us and matched up against the code and found those things that I just told you that were taken out.
That are missing, okay.
These things don't, this doesn't include those, therefore they're not permitted.
Okay, so this Exhibit B that we have has all those things that they are requesting to have the use for.
Yeah.
There are things that are missing that would normally be allowed in the I category or the B3 category.
The B2, yeah, the B category.
B category, yeah. And so those that aren't listed then are not going to be permissible. And those are the things you just read out.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I just want to make sure it's clear. Okay.
Any final questions from council? Hearing none, I'll open the public hearing. Questions from the public? Hearing none, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Final questions from council? Madam Clerk?
I do not have a motion this
Oh,
morning.
need a motion? Thank you. Second? Thank you. You have it now.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Back to tab 17, correct?
Yes, Mayor. Tab 17 is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting the request of Camarillo Site 1 Inc. for a rezoning of 2 parcels totaling approximately 4.7 acres 4.07 acres from Agricultural District AU to Light Industrial District I-1 for property located south of the Homestead extension of the Florida Turnpike, east of 162nd Avenue, and northwest of East Maury Drive, is legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. This is second and final reading.
Entertain a motion. Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you. Staff.
We recommend approval. This is the companion item. This is the rezoning that always comes after the land use change. Again, they're allowing the uses that they specified in the B1s and B2s, and then the tower in the light industrial use.
Okay, thank you. Questions from council?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Burgess. I'm trying to do protocol here. I'm trying to do vice mayor, you know. You guys give me a hard time being
To staff.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm not totally sold on this antenna. If we okay this tonight, do they have to come back to us with some sort of application for this antenna to be built?
Yes, the code specifies a telecommunications, wireless telecommunications towers application criteria. As part of that, they have to go through a number of things, including a site plan. The criteria says that what they really need to do is provide proof that there's a gap in coverage, and they need to do that and follow the city protocol, which is well defined about how to locate towers. They need to get a radio frequency engineer to produce that study, and then we'll evaluate it to make sure that it has been done accurately, like we do with site plans and those types of things.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Shaw.
Yeah, actually, I was going to ask almost the exact same question. I just want to make sure the record's clear that what we're approving is the zoning only, not the actual approval of the building or the tower or anything else. All that has to come back for further consideration. So I just want to make sure that's on the record.
That's beautiful. Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Any further questions? Okay, at this time I'll open the public hearing. Questions from the public? Hearing none, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Final questions from council. Madam Clerk?
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Card number 781, number 2012, 46 rezoning to multiple apartment district R3, tab 18.
Yes, tab 18, this is the first reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting the request of David Palienza for a rezoning of an approximately .626 acre parcel from General Use District G to Multiple Apartment District R3 for property located south of Northeast 11th Street, west of Old Dixie Highway, north of Northeast 9th Place, and east of Northeast 5th Avenue as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. It's his first reading.
Thank you. Second? Thank you. Staff?
Yes, sir. We recommend approval of this application. This and the next item are companion items. What they're attempting to do is rezone property to the R3 district because the applicant intends to construct a 1,000-student station charter school on 3 parcels of land totaling about 4.4 acres. Again, the property currently has the general use district zoning classification and a future land use designation medium-density residential. So we need where the applicant would like to change this to an R3. Once they do that, they've also submitted a special exception and site plan applications, which, if this gets approved, will be heard next month. We recommend approval.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Shaw.
I have a question on the the MRU. The possible categories are, you have this, the apartments, you have townhomes, you have duplexes. What other options are under that MRU classification?
The MRU is implemented by the R2s, the R3s, the RTH, which is the multiple apartment district, the RCH, which is the cluster house district, the residential traditional neighborhood, which is RTND. Those are the zoning categories that implement the land use code.
The reason I raise that is that, and again, just for clarification before I continue my line of questioning, all we're voting on today is just the rezoning, nothing to do with any proposals, site plans, et cetera, or in use. That'll be determined at a later council meeting.
Correct. This is just a rezoning. The special exception for the school and the site plan have been submitted, and they would be heard next month.
Correct. And so my question here is that I don't know that apartments is necessarily what I think is the best use here. Now, I know their ultimate goal is to put a school, but assuming that the school doesn't come to fruition in the end, there are a lot of rentals in this area already, and I think we already have an oversaturation of rentals. So I would prefer to see the townhomes built there, where it's an item that is, similarly clustered, but is sold off versus, say, a rent or perpetual rental potential here. And so I would be more apt to support a townhome rezoning under the MRU, being the options that are available, than I would say this apartment style, because again, that area is already oversaturated, in my opinion, with rentals. So that would be my recommendation.
What you're suggesting then is to rezone to an R2?
R2, yeah, whatever they.
Yes, sir, because
the
that would
correct
allow,
category.
that would stop at the townhomes.
That
And
would allow the townhomes?
That would allow the townhomes, and R3 permits all the uses in R1 and R2, which maxes at townhomes. In addition, it allows multifamily residences or apartments, community rental homes, assisted living facilities, and home occupation. So it sounds to me that what you would prefer is an R2 rezoning.
Yeah, so that would be my recommendation. That's what I would be more apt to support than I would to allow additional apartments to be built in that particular area. That's my only comment for now.
We would have no issue with that from a planning perspective because the R2 is a less intensive use and would still be compatible with the surrounding neighborhood.
Will still be compatible with the possible future use of the school?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The request for that, the R3, I have the contiguous property, and I have a R3 zoning, and I have an approval for the site plan that was approved there was all for townhome style development, not like multi-floor apartments. That's gonna really limit me when I go in. If for some reason we do have to build residential and go for townhomes, that only allows me to do like twin home construction. I couldn't do like we have in Keysgate and other places, like, 4-unit townhomes.
4 or 6 unit.
6-unit townhomes, which really makes construction a lot more expensive. I mean, you'd really be limiting, I mean, and if it's a density, and then also, Councilman Shelley, y'all have to approve any further development, any kind of site plan or the building style that we would put there would have to come back in front of the council. And by hitting me with R2, you're really going to limit me as to, I can only build a twin, say I had still, hey, what's the density on, Mr. Cordino, what's the density on R2?
The R2, well, it's actually the land use that gives us the density. You're allowed to go up to 10 units an acre, but if you're adjacent to the busway, which you are, in the busway
15.
corridor, you're allowed to do 15.
Right, and so the R2 and R3 doesn't change the density?
No, it does not.
Real quick, your name and address for the
Oh,
record.
sorry, Jason Bass, 2927 Augusta Circle.
Right, it's a given.
Any further questions? Yes, sir?
Yeah, that's my concern, though, is that particular area is not Keysgate. That particular area has a lot of single-family homes nearby. You are near the busway, so that's why I think this townhome fits. I think, I was on planning and zoning with the parcel to the south, which I guess is the parcel you're referring to,
Right.
came forward. And that was a big debate. I remember the neighborhood had a big issue with the townhome concept, even going in there. But we thought because it was near the busway, it made sense to have the higher density because you would have people jumping off and on the buses. So I'd be okay with the townhome because it would complement the other development that you were talking about. But the apartments, I don't like the concept of, because at the end you're talking about now facilitating rentals, which we already have enough of in that particular area. And so I'd rather facilitate the townhomes, the buy and sell, than I would the renting.
Would you, I mean, I could do that under the R3 also. I mean, when the council comes in, like, it would be a townhome style development.
Yes, but you would also be able to have the authority to do the apartments, which I don't approve of. And so I don't want to give you a matter of right to claim that we can build this. So I would rather go ahead and limit it now. That would be my
But council would still have to approve whatever development I brought in, Councilman Shaw. But what you're limiting me to twin homes. I can only do like 2 units together, and I'd have to do, say if I had 10 units to the acre, I'd have to do 5 twin home townhouses instead of being able to do 2 buildings of 5 units, which really,
Yeah, I'd have to defer to staff because I don't know the intricacy of the code that much, but I would still say that my position would stand.
That's what R2, I mean, you'd limit me to only being able to build 2 units per building.
Right, the townhomes, it's a townhome, the townhome district, I'm sorry, the townhome use is allowed in R2, which is really, I guess, almost a duplex. So to go higher than that, you'd have to do the R3. And by the way, the maximum, I want to be clear, you are allowed to give him at most 10 units per acre, but you can give him less if you don't think that the site is appropriate for that.
Under the townhomes, he would still have that 10 units per acre.
Still the same density.
He would come in with the site plan and whatever type of format he wanted, we'd approve it or disapprove it going
It's
forward.
really, the difference is in form.
Right.
The densities the same.
Correct, okay.
Questions?
But he's talking about cost of construction is different because he can't build a fourplex or a sixplex like they are building. Very few duplexes are built in that sense now. So his argument is that it's going to cost him more money to build those same units because they're going to be built 2 at a time instead of 4 or 6 at a time.
Right.
Is that, am I hearing you right?
Yes, sir.
Put it
Yes,
on
Mayor.
the-
Yes, without a doubt, you're definitely hearing me correctly.
Okay.
Right, and I can only do 2, right, Mr. Cordino? I mean, if I'm R2, I can't do,
2 and then 2 more, and it's, you know, your setbacks you have to have,
Yeah.
between them and everything else.
is that right?
You're
Mr.
you're
Cordino?
allowed to do townhouses in the R2 at most, which conform to, you know, Division 6 of that article. So that's what you're permitted to do. And I think we'd have to look at a site plan to really figure out exactly how it had fit and for them to evaluate it relative to form.
But if you give me, if I were to get the R2 zoning, would I be able to build, you know, quadplexes and that type, you know, 6 units in a row? Or am I limited to 2? That's my question.
I don't believe you would be allowed to do that.
I would not be able to.
Would not be allowed to do quadplexes.
That's where I run into a problem. That's where I have a problem.
Okay, Vice Mayor.
So,
Yeah, question, I guess, for James. He's asking for R3, and if we were to give him R3, but he says, oh, I'm not gonna do that. R3 is on that land, and in a year, if the school hasn't been built, or they can't secure somebody to run that, he can come back, and he has the rights to do whatever R3 is, and we can't really stop him, right? We could end up in a lawsuit or something, because he's given R3. He could build apartments or whatever he wanted, whatever they deem appropriate that falls within the code.
Correct.
So we would have to give it to him at site plan.
Right. Once you rezone the property to R3, then there are a list of permitted uses that are,
Or what they
as
are.
of right,
Right.
that he would be entitled to utilize the property. Now, he would still have to come in, or the applicant, or the successor in interest, or whomever owns the property would still have to come in and get the appropriate site plan or variances.
Correct,
Or
but the apartments, which is what Mr. Shelley is trying to.
They would be
without
allowed.
Putting words in Mr. Shelley's mouth, it seems like he's trying to not allow that. They would be allowed, and we would not be able to stop that.
Correct.
At that point. Thank you.
Further questions? Hearing no further questions, I'll open this to public comment. Yes, sir, you come forward and state your name and address.
Hi, my name is Brian Arneson. I live in 7400 158th Terrace in Palmetto Bay. I own the apartment building across the street from the subject property. My question is the zoning change tied specifically to the site plan? And if it is, then I don't think we have to worry, because it'll be a charter school as long as the zoning change goes through. I didn't hear a whole lot of talk about the charter school. A couple of guys mentioned it or referenced it, but obviously it's in my best interest to see a charter school there, and I'd love to see the zoning change go through as long as it was specifically tied to the site plan of a charter school.
Okay,
And the other question I have is, does the current zoning GU,
You to me.
I'm sorry, does the current GU zoning prevent a charter school?
Okay, let's let
That's
Joe,
why I was
let's answer
asking.
both those questions, all right?
Yes, sir. The G needs to be changed to something to allow development on there. So we got to rezone it to something other than that. The site plan is not tied to the zoning. The rezoning would happen, and then he's given the rights to zone whatever in that district. He does, however, have a site plan application and a special exception application. Every district requires a special exception application for you to evaluate before you allow a school. those things have been received and evaluated and been evaluated by the Planning and Zoning Board, and they would come to you next month. They're on the schedule for next month should you approve these.
Get your answer?
Yeah, so just to be clear, you cannot build a charter school on the current zoning. It has to be changed to something.
Correct.
Is that correct? Is there something other than R3? I heard R2 does allow a charter school, R3 does allow a charter school. Is there anything else that would prevent a high-rise apartment building or whatever that these gentlemen are referencing other than R2 and R3?
You can do special exceptions allow schools, and they allow those in just about every zoning district. So if you wanted to go less, I guess, less intense than an R3, you could do an R2, and it would still allow a school.
Right. How about other than those two was the question?
Yes, just about any other zoning district would allow that, provided you do a special.
But not
exception.
G?
But not G.
Okay. So it has to be changed?
It has to be changed.
But you cannot make it site-specific?
And I'm not sure what you
Tied to the site plan?
Correct. You do rezoning first, and then you do the site plan. Once you get your zoning, then you can do site plans within that zoning category.
And they're completely independent?
They are completely independent.
And there's no way to tie it together, is that what I hear?
That's why he's here tonight. Change the zoning, get a school.
Right.
Let's
correct.
give in, Jason. It's going to be a school.
Yeah, everybody's for it if it's going to be a
Everybody's for
school. A lot of people are not if it's not going to be. And it sounds like once it's changed to R3,
No, I guess what you're
there's
asking.
a very good chance. In fact, it almost seems like he's planning on not having a charter school. That's my reference.
Alex, let's don't get into that. All
Yeah,
right.
we don't have to get into that. That's just the way my observation of what
very much.
what it looked like here tonight.
No,
Thank you.
I appreciate your point of view. Yes, Mr. Shelley.
Just a follow-up comment. That's my concern too, is that even if it does become a charter school, if it doesn't become a charter school, there's the issue. If it does become a charter school, and the charter school, for whatever reason, doesn't succeed or work out, then the backup plan would then possibly be something else as well. So that's why, to me, it's critical to lock in the maximum amount of what they can do. So that's why I'm advocating for the townhome versus, say, the apartments, because they can still accomplish what they hope to accomplish, but the consequences to the community and the neighborhood are not as severe if it doesn't work out.
If it makes y'all comfortable and it makes the council and mayor, you know, it makes it easier on y'all, then just move forward with R2. I don't care. And just, so.
Okay, here we
let's
go.
see.
In lieu of time. Everything's good. Thank you very much.
Whatever y'all got to do
final
to change
questions
that.
from the
But we can
council?
do that tonight though, right? There's no resubmittals and all that.
Yeah, sure.
It's a less intensive zoning district.
Yeah, because it's a less intensive district, so we don't have to. It's less, so you can do it. You can go less.
Let me close the public comment. Any final comment from council? Less density.
It's less intensive.
Size,
Less-
intense. Intensity. R2 is less than R3, what he wants.
G's not a zoning.
No. Okay, so where are we at? Do we need reform the motion?
I would imagine you
Yeah,
probably
motion
need.
to amend.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'll make a motion to amend from the R3 to the R2.
Correct.
Okay. All right, and we'll vote on that first?
Second.
Okay, second, thank you. All right. Do we need roll call on that? Yes, please. Let's vote on that first. Roll call.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Okay.
Councilman Williams?
Ordinance as amended.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Alrighty.
I think I'm still up.
You're still up, okay.
Still up at that.
We have to change this one too, right?
Number 20?
Yes, Mayor. This is moving on to tab 19, car number 782, public hearing 2012-47, rezoning to multiple apartment district. This is the neighboring property. This is the first reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting the request of Assemblia Evangelica de Homestead, Inc. for rezoning of an approximately 1.683 acre parcel from General Use District G to Multiple Apartment District R3 for property located south of Northeast 11th Street, west of Old Dixie Highway, north of Northeast 9th Place, and east of Northeast 5th Avenue, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. This is first reading.
I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move it with the
Thank you.
same motion as, without any objection from the applicant as we just went through on the last.
I was going to request a change.
Sure.
Beat you to it.
Okay, we've got, we need a second?
So the motion is as it is, except with substituting R3 for R2. That's the motion you just made.
Substituting R2 for R3.
Yeah, R2 for R3.
We have to still vote twice on it, right?
Yeah.
Please.
So then I'll second that motion.
Okay. Let's vote on the amended motion first. Oh, no, I'm sorry, you got open public comment. Public comment? Public comment. Okay, Howard. Okay, alrighty,
I can explain to you after the meeting.
sorry.
After his vote.
No final comment from council? Okay, we're gonna vote on the amendment first, Madam Clerk. It's amended to, R2.
Vice Mayor Burgess,
Yes.
Councilman Shelley,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Bateman,
Yes.
the motion carried.
Okay, and we vote on it as amended.
Okay. Vice Mayor Burgess,
Yes.
Councilman Shelley,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Bateman,
Yes.
the motion carried.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, car number 740,
Thank you.
tab 20, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Number 2012,
Yes, this is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 6, Building and Building Regulations regarding certificates of occupancy for places of public assembly, amending Chapter 30 zoning at Article 1 in general in order to provide for amendments to definitions, amending Article 3 district regulations to amend zoning district regulations for places of worship and places of public assembly, and amending Article 4 supplemental district regulations to amend parking standards for places of public assembly and uses with similar parking demands, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date. This is second and final reading.
Move it.
motion, thank you, second. All right, staff.
Yes, sir. We recommend approval of this ordinance on second reading. Essentially, what we have here is the attached to proposed ordinance is intended to provide certain amendments to the city's land development and zoning regulations for the compliance with the RLUIPA Act. The ordinance includes standardized treatment of places of public assembly. It eliminates regulation of storefront churches and religious institutions, and it standardizes and clarifies parking standards for those types of places. We recommend approval.
Thank you. Questions from council? Hearing none, I'll open the public hearing. Questions from the public? Hearing none, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Final questions from council? Madam Clerk?
Councilman Shelley,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess, Mayor Bateman,
Yes.
the motion carried.
Thank you. Okay, we got 21, we're 22, right?
Yes, Mayor. Tab 22 is the car number 747. This is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 6, Building and Building Regulations, Article 4, Fences, Division 1 generally, Section 6-197, Fence Construction Standards, amending Chapter 30 Zoning, Article 4, Supplemental District Regulations, Division 1 generally, Section 30-408, Fences or Walls, and further amending Division 5 Fence Restrictions to provide for clarification and consistency of fencing standards and regulations, providing for severability, inclusion in the code, conflicts, and providing for an effective date. This is second and final
Move
reading.
it.
Thank you. Thank you, staff.
This is and we're trying to go through and make recommendations on just having to clarify the fence regulations. They were contradictory and repetitive, and this cleans that ordinance up to make everything consistent with one another. Recommend approval.
Okay, thank you. Comments from council? Hearing none, I'll open the public hearing. Hearing none, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Final questions from council. Okay, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Councilman Shelley,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess, Mayor Bateman,
Yes.
the motion carried.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Car 732, waiver of utility deposits for military personnel.
An ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the city code by amending Chapter 28 Utilities by amending Article 6 Deposits, Section 28201 Water and Sewer Deposits, and by amending Article 8 Electricity, Section 28255 Electrical Deposits, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective
Move
date.
it.
Second reading and public hearing.
Second.
Thanks. Moved in second. Staff?
Mayor, the additions to the city code will allow the customer service department to enroll active duty or reserve military personnel in double notification program and waive utility deposit requirements on new accounts. Staff recommends that the mayor and council approve the attached ordinance on second reading.
Thank you. Questions from council?
Wonderful, thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
It is wonderful. And they're actually a military family waiting until tomorrow to go get their power turned in their name. And the landlord was nice enough to keep it in his name for 5 more days, so it wouldn't cost this guy $500, something more. Anyway, it's a great job. I think we've done a phenomenal job, Steve, doing the right thing for the right reason.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I just want to reiterate, just to make sure that you let staff know as of tomorrow to work with the military, because I know we've had 1 or 2 phone calls, and just make sure that everybody knows, all the general or the representatives know, so that there's no hiccups and everyone knows how to apply this program.
I'd almost take it a step further and take the local realtors and mail them out the signed ordinance by me, the change here. That would really be effective, I think. Take a little proactive step and allow the realtors in town to know this is legit now. Because I had Sue Newman from Kai's Realty call me like in a panic, and I said, look, there's nothing I can do about it until we vote. So I think we ought to be proactive and reach out to the public.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, good evening. I know I have a lot of military personnel who's come and asked because they've heard about it, and I've kept telling them just hold tight, you know, it's coming. The idea is, you know, I'll definitely work with our PIO to put it on our website to make sure that since it's a new application, and I'll have a staff meeting with my staff this week to inform them that, you know, once it's approved, that, you know, we'll have this new process in place for our military folks.
Okay. Did I open the public hearing? Yeah, open to the public. Any questions from the public? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Final questions from council. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess? Councilman Shelley? Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Tab 24, budget amendment to general fund.
I'm reading the alternate. The ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the budget for the city for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2012, ending September 30th, 2013, by increasing the total budget revenue and expenditures by $35,700, providing for repeal or severability and effective date.
Second. Staff.
Mr. Mayor and members of the council, staff recommends that the mayor and council approve the amended budget for fiscal year 2013 for the general fund in the amount of $17,000 as per the attached schedule. The purpose of the budget amendment is to provide funding for the conversion of a temp agency staff member into a full-time employee pursuant to council consensus at the February 20th, 2013 meeting. The budget amendment includes $17,000 to cover the cost of the converted position.
Questions from council?
Mr. Mayor, I don't think I have a copy of the actual amended.
Should be on your desk.
Carlos, I know we get second reading, so I agree with what you said. I'm going to vote for it, but I don't.
I'm sorry, I didn't provide copies to all of them. I did provide one to the city clerk. I apologize.
Do you want us to read the change, or it's basically only dealing with the upgrade of the position and stripping out anything on the overtime? We'll bring that item back to you at a later date.
Correct. Yeah, it comes in second reading, so we'll be able to, when we approve it next meeting, we'll see it in
But
person.
the initial one, it is an alternative one. Instead of the $35,700 that was included in the original package, we did submit an alternate, and I apologize I didn't make copies for all the council. It's revised to just $17,000 is what the amendment is for, just to cover the cost of the conversion.
Okay, I just want to, because I don't have it in front of me to see, so that was my only question, but I agree with what you're saying and what you're proposing and the concept, and as long as I see it before the second reading, I'll be fine with that.
But what reading is this? This is the second, isn't it? This on here is the second.
Carlos made me aware of it earlier, but that's a big difference, and that's That's the smallest budget amendment I think I've ever approved. Okay. Are we done? Is that, Steve, is everything good? Good? Yeah. Okay. Any final questions? Okay. I'll open to the public comment on this particular item. Tab 24. Hearing none, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Final comments from council. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Councilman Maldonado.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess.
Yes.
Councilman Shelley.
Yes.
Councilman Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Bateman.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, business weekly reports from manager. You have something, manager? Okay. City Attorney? Okay, Councilman Williams.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Let me thank the city staff for what they have done for Blakely Park doing our ribbon cutting ceremony. And let me thank Dennis Mayton and his staff over at FICO Williams Travis. And then let me thank the CRA Director, Rick, for all that he has done in effort to make that a success. And it was a very, very well, great ribbon cutting for the community. And that park is going to be a very, very nice staple in the community that will add to the quality of life. So let me thank Mr. Manager, you for taking the what my vision was and to make it happen. And then to my colleagues that came, let me thank you for sharing in that renovation, not only through your vote, but your support along the way. And so that really meant a lot. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Maldonado.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to let the council know and staff that I was recently appointed to the National League of Cities Youth, Family, and Education Committee. So I was, last week I was up in Washington and working with elected officials throughout the United States and seeing what the bigger picture is and what they're working on. And my goal is just to bring what they're doing on a national level that's showing results in these areas to bring it down to our local levels. So other than that, I have no other further things. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Shelley.
Thank you, Mayor. Just two quick items. I know at one of the last meetings, one of the last marathon meetings we had, I briefly raised the idea of trash cans there on Chrome Avenue. And that's since been reiterated to me by some of the local businesses up and down from, say, because I don't think the trash cans start till you get almost to Campbell Drive. So from there all the way to 15th Street, where there's a lot of walking traffic and a lot of retail, there are no trash cans. And so the idea would be to look into seeing what it would cost or how we could go about trying to get trash cans up along that corridor so that we maybe can reduce some of the litter that gets put on the roadway.
Mayor, Council, Councilman Shelley, we thought there was a downtown area which we checked from 4th Street all the way to 1st Street. And what we were looking at, we were trying to keep it kind of uniform because the way they have it, and the downtown was bench and trash can and bench and trash can. We were looking at it, we didn't want to make it too clustered. We were looking at maybe an additional 3 or 4. But you're asking to go all the way down towards Campbell Net?
Yeah, correct, because the downtown area does have trash cans. Granted, they're spaced out, but they're there. But when you get from about Campbell Drive north, you have a lot of retail on the left-hand side, you have a lot of retail on the right-hand side, all the way to 15th Street. And there's really not a single trash can from there all the way to Campbell Drive. I think there might be one bus stop there in front of that doctor's office. I think there may be a trash can attached to that, but I don't remember 100%. But the rest of the corridor, there is not one single trash can for public use. And so if you can look into that and see if we can find a way to maybe add some, because there is a lot of trash that gets along those medians and the right-of-ways there, and maybe a trash can or two here or there, especially near the bus stops, would help facilitate maybe a cleaner area.
I'll give my staff to work on that tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. And then my second item is for the police department. The same area, along from 8th Street, say to 15th Street. There's been a lot of complaints. A lot of people come to me about the, I guess, the increased prostitution activities that are going on there.
Whoa.
And so that's something that maybe we can look into, looking to try to get rid of or crack down on. And again, I don't know if they are or they not, but that seems to be the complaints from the people in that vicinity. And so if we could just look into it, it's from 8th all the way to 15th Street.
That's been already dealt with.
Okay.
We made 7 arrests last weekend.
Okay.
And I think the mayor's aware of it, but I think I sent him an email on what was being done. You know, you wasn't aware of it, but we've taken care of that, and the problem, as I see it today, it's gone away.
Okay, perfect. That's all. I just want to make sure it's addressed. Thank you.
We've actually spoke one-on-one with some business owners, and they're very pleased with what's happened so far. It just, sometimes it takes a little time, right, Chief? Yeah, they don't learn the first time. Councilman?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Mayor. I did forget one thing I did have. As it relates to 4th Street, Dennis, and we went out a couple months ago. Is Valley Crest still the person that does the streetscape and all of that, the landscape for 4th Street from 6th to Flagler?
Councilman William, yes, they do the landscape from the Flagler all the way to 6th Avenue when we met that day with Rick.
Yeah,
yes.
But you know nothing has changed, right? They have not put anything new out, and it's been several months.
What we were looking at is once the 4th Street improvement is done from 6th Avenue to Redland Road, we're looking at trying to copy that look onto Flagler to 6th Avenue. So that's what we're going to probably upgrade, you know, redo that, looking into that to redo it the same way to keep it uniformed.
Yeah, but don't we already have the plans on what that will be?
Yes, we do have the plans from 4th Street job for the improvements. Yes, sir.
So I have to suffer with my eyes to look at all that stuff, and the residents have to suffer till we get finished with the other half of 4th Street.
What I can do is look into it and see what we can do to get it going.
What I'm saying is that I don't want to have to wait until we complete a project before that project, which they are getting paid to do, might I add. I mean, they're getting paid a contract to keep all of that up. And so basically, to me, we're just throwing money out the door to keep up something that's dead, that's not there, that's not, you know. So that's what I have a problem with. But go ahead, Rick, look like you have something to say.
Well, our plan was to order all the plant materials at the same time so that they would come when they were going to put in the plantings for those. If it's the will of the board to have a sit down with Valley Quest and try to get something done quicker, we can.
Let me stop there. Will of the board. It is an eyesore for the community. I went out there trying to, be proactive, meet with them. They were not doing what they were supposed to do in their contract. They acknowledged that there. Therefore, it should have been fixed. I'm not jumping on staff, but I'm just saying how frustrated I am at this point. It should have been fixed then, not something, I've got to come back 6 months later down the road, because it's been just about that long, 6 months. And to wait to the new project is completed on 4th Street before that is done. To me, it makes no sense. And then we're paying them to facilitate, to clean up that area, and it's not being done. It's a waste. I don't understand. So what I'm asking now to do at this moment, because I'm a little frustrated, I got a headache now, a little frustrated, Mayor. What I'm asking to do, let me see the contract. How have they been getting paid to do a job that they've not done on 4th Street? Forget what they've been doing there. I'm talking about 4th Street now. Because if they're getting paid to maintain that and it's still the same, then something is wrong with how we're doing business. Maybe we need to look at a new vendor, someone who can keep up, somebody that can do their job as it relates to providing what we have asked for. Because simply, George, if it was your house, Rick, your house, you would want something done immediately. You wouldn't want to have a project completed and then it's there, to be done. That's unacceptable for me.
I got to chime in. I tell you, and it's not just it's all over Homestead. I had high hopes for this outfit. I said, man, they're United States wide. They're going to really do a jam-up job. And I say, I feel for Dennis, because he gets phone calls from me 3 times a month where their weeds are higher than the plant. and they just recently put in 200 plants because I did what Jimmy did. Mr. Williams, I picked up the phone and said, who's taking care of this? We got plants dead up and down the road. I thought we had an agreement here. I even started blaming our side, saying, is the water on? The water can't be on. They don't seem to care over there. I think that we should take a hard look at cutting this contract in half and getting 2 separate vendors that will seriously take us serious, because it is sloppy work. And I think the contract is what, about $700,000? It's no little contract. So I'd take it away from them tomorrow if I was the manager here, and say it's a sloppy job. You've been warned. How many times, Dennis, have you actually talked to them? For me even. I even said, use me as the bad guy.
Many times, Mayor.
Many times. You're wasting this man's time. You're wasting your good director's time, because you shouldn't have to go there no more than 2 times and say, you're not doing your job. Everywhere they work, it's sloppy. Sloppy weeds growing out of the side of the thing. I go, you know, look, we pay the same money that Doral pays. We pay the same, it's the same green dollar. I just don't think it's right. I think somebody should take immediate action with them. Immediately.
We'll get on it first thing tomorrow.
Thank you, sir.
Now, back to my request, though. Thank you, Mayor. I needed that extra power you had there. But I still want the contract to see exactly how they've been paid to do a job that's not been done.
Absolutely.
I have a problem with that, Mr. Manager, and I'm not jumping on staff. Dennis, I'm not jumping on you. I just gave you a big congratulations and all of that, and you too, Rick. But I'm saying I'm a little peed off with Valley Crest.
Okay.
And so I think they need to come to the table, and you know, we need to have some, as my grandma would say, some straightening.
I understand.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Burgess, Vice Mayor Burgess.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I'll stay on that same theme real quick. I guess this would go to Mr. Brea to start with. As the contractor over there on East Mowry puts out this sod, who's responsible for watering it and making it grow it initially? Is that the city or them till they turn over the road to us? On East Mowry, where they've done the road, where they're doing the road widening?
In front of the school.
From
The school up to the, the contract calls for them to be responsible for that until they turn it over to us, and also a year beyond, so.
Okay.
I will be keeping an eye on that, obviously.
That grass wasn't watered for over a month, and it might as well be removed.
Well, they're not finished with the project. At the end of the day, when we do our final punch list, if there's any dead grass or any dead sod, whatever, it will have to be replaced, and they would have to water it. I believe the project calls for a whole year.
The last water it got was the rain we had last night, since it was installed over a month ago.
Well, it really is their responsibility at that
It's
point.
still their responsibility.
Yeah.
But anyway, you let them know that they need to do some work over there on that. To Mr. Corradino, and I know we spoke, but just to bring everybody up to date, these boxes that have become an eyesore in the community and stuff, I know there was some work done on it and some votes taken. How close are we to getting those eyesores taken away from the community?
Next month, we'll have the ordinance passed or presented to you that will govern how code is able to remove those boxes.
Okay, so we're 3 months away still, because 2 readings?
2 readings or 1 reading? 2 readings.
2 readings, so 3 months. 'Cause we got a
April
month
and May.
before we read it, 2 months. So
April
it'll be
and May.
June. Okay.
It'll be
Thank
done
you.
in May.
Okay, thank you. And Chief, and I know that code enforcement is busy all over town. Today, when I was leaving the doctor's office right here on Northeast 3rd Avenue, right across from Checkers and stuff off of Campbell, I see like 6 or 7 vacant homes back in there that look like they're probably overrun with vagrants and are an eyesore and probably a hazard. How do we go about, and I guess as a city, making people responsible for the properties that they own, whether it's the bank or a landowner that built these and went belly up or whatever. They had people living in them at one time because there's electrical boxes that have been stripped out and stuff. So I don't know. I guess we need to look at this as a whole, because there's more than one spot in town that has it. But and I think we need to start making people responsible for cleaning up the eyesores that they're leaving for the rest of us behind. And I don't know how Crystal and them do it, or what we do through the attorneys, or what we do, but we need to step it up somehow. And any help from the attorneys, to code enforcement, to the special master, or whoever it is, and I will gladly ride around, because it's an eyesore, it's a health hazard, and it's a liability to somebody that needs to be taken care of. And I'm not just picking, that was just a spot, and I mean, it's been accumulating with some other things, you know. I'm starting to see a lot of for sale cars sticking around town that we need a sticker. And I know that, and I'm not picking on truck drivers, but when they leave them for 4 and 5 days parked in parking lots, I don't see them moving, and I don't see anything being done. And we need to, I guess, re-examine or prioritize some things. Maybe we need to sit down and prioritize some things that we think need to be done, or something, to give code enforcement or whoever a list of what we'd like to see, perhaps, or something like that, if that's helpful to them. Okay. I know they're overworked, and they've got paperwork 6 feet deep, and I'm not picking on them, because I know they do what they can do. And I don't, you know, where they had the car, I don't care. I'm sure that, you know, but I don't know where we stop, because I know we write a lot of citations in this city, but it doesn't deter anybody from continuing to do the things that are citable and all that. So I don't know, perhaps Mr. Attorney, how do we get these citations that are given out to have some teeth in them, so that people see these things being done? I mean, the citations being written, people being fined, and they go, whoa, I can't do that, I need to clear it up. What do we do to rectify that?
Yeah, I mean, this is not an unusual problem. Every community has it. Unfortunately, what happens is the people who have the property, we have a code enforcement fine. The fines accrue, they become a lien against the property, and the question is, you know, how long that can go on. Some communities have the ability to go in and clean it up themselves and lien, but all you do is end up spending money cleaning up the property, and then you lien the property. You know, for instance, if it's an overgrown lot or something like that. But we'll talk here and see if there's something else that we can do to try to do at least the best that we can with a very difficult problem.
No, and I understand it's a big burden on every community. But and down here, I just don't see the teeth being sunk into anybody to rectify the situation and help show that we mean business. And that's all I'm asking for. I don't know if I've got a consensus with people here or not, but I certainly would like to see, my opinion is that we move forward and start putting the hammer down to get this place cleaned up and get these properties taken care of that are so run down and are a health hazard and a danger to kids that may be in the neighborhood or whatever.
And Vice Mayor, I fully agree with you. We definitely need to deal with that, and everything that we do with code enforcement is a lengthy process. We have 2 hearings a month, and there's a lot of people not happy about what we do here, and we issue a lot of fines, but you know how it works. I'm going to have them to do a little bit more, but you know, people they're gonna complain, because when we drop the hammer.
Well, when the neighborhoods are clean and nice looking and pristine, I think they'll be happier than they would be for somebody that's living up in Palmetto Bay or Pinecrest. I'm not picking on somebody up there that might have 6 or 8 buildings sitting down here that are run down and dilapidated, and are making our citizens, myself, you, whomever else, suffer through their mess because they're not here to take care of it. So if somebody starts complaining and they're a resident, then let them clean up the problem, because the problem is not for me to look at or me to take care of. It's their property and their problem, and they need to take care of it.
I agree, and I'll assure you, as of tomorrow, we would do just that. We would definitely drop the hammer starting tomorrow.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Mayor.
Just don't drop the hammer on those people who leave their garbage can out on the wrong day for the first time.
I mean, that's...
Because I get a lot of those calls, trust me, $180 fine.
And that's not what I'm aimed at.
I know, and that's why I want you to clear it up for the public now, because
you know, the 6 or 8 lots that are overrun, and over there just to the west of
I have no problem with that.
Second Avenue West or about 12th Street, there's a house that's got rebar sticking up that's been there for 4 or 5 years, which is, somebody's gonna get hurt dramatically on that rebar that's sticking up. There's no fencing around it or anything. And I go by there and see kids playing, and I just cringe to think what happens when a kid falls on a piece of rebar one day or something. And that home and that lot have been there for a long time.
Mr. Mayor, can I comment on that? Sure. I think that that Vice Mayor Burgess has raised a good point. I know I met with code enforcement a year and a half ago or so, and that was one of the concepts that was discussed, is that, you know, I think that really they need direction from us as the policymakers on what issues we find important, because otherwise, if he drops the hammer tomorrow, he's going to drop the hammer on the entire code book. That's the only fair thing to do. Yeah. And so, without any direction given by us, they're going to cite things that we think are minor, but they're part of the code and they're going to do their job. And so I do think that what you said is smart, and I think that we need to, either through a workshop format or a committee of the whole meeting, we need to give specific direction to code enforcement and say, we find these 5 things to be a problem. We want you to focus on these 5 things, and then everything else as well, but these are our priorities. Because if you don't give them priorities, they're just out there trying to do their best, and it's a waste of resources.
I may not have said it clearly, but that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to take the bigger items,
right,
and let's focus and get them cleaned up. And we don't give them 300 items. We give them 5 or 6 or whatever. Right. Let them focus on them, and maybe in 6 months or something, when they think that they've got that under control, then we go on down our list, further on down the list, and keep prioritizing. And we don't want to overburden them, but we want them to know what we would like to be taken care of, what we would like to see cleaned up in the community, and what we would like to see them perhaps focus on with 3 or 4 items. I'm not asking them to focus on 200 things at one time, because they can't do it. But give them 3 or 4 priorities, and also they do their daily stuff.
I think that's a great idea. And 1 year ago, we had this. 1 year ago, we had this meeting, and it was very successful. We had a good, balanced discussion on both sides, and we gave some direction at that time. And I'm hearing that, and I actually asked for the minutes, and the city clerk got me the minutes, and I've been reading through them. And there was some decision made that day. And I'm looking forward to the next workshop. You tell me when, and I will be there. Tell me it's going to be next week. Tell me when it's going to be, and I'll be there.
And I'm with you. Whenever the council would like to do it, I'm for it. The only thing,
direction. I'm telling you.
The only comment I would make about the last workshop we had is we ended up going through like the entire code book and saying, did we want to enforce this? Do we want to give them notice? Should they be, you know? And I think what we need to do this time is actually all of us pick 5 or 6 things and come in and let's discuss them. And hopefully they're 5 or 6 of the same items, because that makes it easy for direction. But at least we can narrow it down to 3 or 4 or 5 priorities. Sure. And so whenever you guys are ready to have the workshop, I wholeheartely support it. So.
And just I would say to even make it easier and more specific, we all come in, instead of 5 or 6, we come in with 3 each.
That's fine.
And then we take 4 or 5, whatever the chief and his staff think that would not overburden them at one time, and we move forward with those, because that's the key, is not to overburden them and put so much pressure on them that other things get left behind too.
I hear you, because we still have an open-ended sign ordinance that we've never closed or completed or finalized.
I did my meeting.
You know, it needs to be done, finished.
And I recommend that maybe we do it the next committee of the whole then. Let's discuss, because if we're only talking about 3 items, that should be something we could add and discuss, because rather than have a workshop after workshop, and I guess as you see, we're having a hard time scheduling workshops as it is. So I think we just go ahead and put it on the next CAL. Let's discuss as far as we can. If we have to stop and start back again, we'll start at the following CAL.
I'm sorry. You know, we got an annexation workshop next for the CAL. So
that, are you saying that so that we could address it
I'm
as
saying,
well as there,
no,
or just be
I'm
aware
saying
of that?
we already got a huge item that we have to talk about. So, you know, I think, as you all have said so eloquently, prioritize, that if that means annexation needs to go to the backside for a moment.
We also have another workshop request that you had made, which was on CRA programs, so that just, we'll take whichever one you want first, or all 3 of them, and whatever you want to do.
Well, I think we take the next one at the next CAL meeting, and we talk about it. We say we're going to talk 30 minutes on it, right? And we get those things out in 30 minutes. That you say
we start it, and if we don't finish it, we go on to the next CAL. We just keep, it's an ongoing until we get a solution and go.
And we set a time limit on it, okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
30 minutes.
We have Richard there at the meeting.
All right, so that's the next CAL.
Okay.
Next CAL, we're going to talk about the code compliance.
Instead of the annexation, or in addition to the annexation?
in addition, I didn't know that the annexation was gonna be the next cow. Is that when it's at?
Yes.
Prior to the cow?
Prior to.
Yes.
This is part of the cow.
Or you want to make it part
This is an
Or
item
discussion
on the
during
cow.
the cow.
No problem.
That's a discussion
This-
item.
Discussion item on the cow, every cow.
Every cow.
Till we solve it, he's right, he's got a good point. 30 minutes, we allot only 30 minutes, so we can get that one out.
Limited to 30 minutes.
Well, first of all, Mayor, y'all ought to appoint me chair of rules. We already extended our meeting tonight, and I noticed that these meetings are getting a little longer
I know.
and
I'm
longer.
ready to, hey, I'm the last guy, I'm ready to quit. You guys done? I'm ready.
I'm ready,
All
I'm
right, here we
done.
go. Finished? I can-
John, you're done, right?
I got one item, and really I should pass this down to Councilman Maldonado because he praised the school tonight, and I think you gave Mass Academy some type of award, and I stepped out of the room. So, this Mass Academy would like to have a field day for 3 hours, 10 to 1:30, what's that, 3.5 hours. They'd like to use Roscoe Warren Park. It's a Friday, April 12th, and of course, they want it like everybody else for free. So how does council? I think that's an award you should have gave them tonight.
Listen, the
Roscoe Warren
school
Park for
is
3 hours.
doing great things, and I could support it. I would just ask.
Clean up after themselves.
Not only that, but if last time I spoke to, and this is maybe to the chief, but last time I spoke with Officer Tate for the community policing department, he said that any time that something like this happens in the park and we're going to have kids, that maybe he could bring out a mobile unit as well to do some education as well. So last time another school requested something like this, we actually asked to see if we could provide some policing officer in the area so we make sure that while our kids are there during the time, they would be watched out in the park. So I would ask that as well.
That'd be a great time to catch their eye, you know? That's good.
So I would
Okay,
support
that's
that, and hopefully this.
Do we need a vote on that, Richard? Okay. Mass Academy, April 12th, 10 to 1:30. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Item carries. Thank you very much. Motion to go home.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
you forgot to announce the 3 vacancies on the tourism.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have to do this per ordinance. There's 3 vacancies on the tourism board. So I just need to publicly announce that. There are 3 vacancies on the tourism board. So if you're interested, apply. Thank you.